Hey everybody, hello and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be continuing with everybody's 1989 Patreon picks. But before we get to that, I thought it'd be fun to talk about all the big news. Yeah, so something kind of big happened at the Grammys and everybody was left speechless. From a personal standpoint, I don't really watch the Oscars or the Grammys. People that generally win are not my favorite artists or actors or actresses, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not for me. However, from time to time, something crazy happens and it's in the news the next day and it kind of piques my curiosity. But the big rumor going around, everybody was talking about it, I was hearing about this everywhere, is the fact that we were going to finally be getting Taylor Swift's Reputation. I heard a lot of people that were watching the Grammys were paying close attention to what she was wearing. There may have been some sort of Easter egg in her outfit.
My brand new album comes out April 19th. It's called The Tortured Poets Department. I'm gonna go and post the cover right now backstage. Thank you, I love you.
So before she announced the new album, people were going over her outfit with like a fine-tooth comb. They were checking out her like giant lady gloves. And apparently that may have signified that, you know, it was black. So that means Reputation TV is coming. Possibly the choker around her neck, like there was a clock on it and the time the clock was set to. May have signified something. The choker clock necklace is definitely an interesting aesthetic. I don't understand the logistics of it. I don't understand how it all works. But hey, who am I to judge? I don't know shit about fashion. And then this dropped, the Tortured Poets Department album cover. Here it is. Man, it's a bit of a tongue twister. It's kind of a lot to say. It's definitely very different for Taylor Swift. Most of her albums are like Red and 1989 and Midnights and Speak Now. Like they're very short, very easy things to say, but this is a bit of a tongue twister. But I think it sounds cool. I think it's neat. I think it's cool to have, you know, a different title like this. And I've always envisioned Taylor Swift as a bit of a tortured poet. I've said this a couple times in different reactions with how vulnerable she is and how she talks about things that are deeply personal and how it feels almost violating hearing some of these songs and some of these messages she shared with us. And this album title and cover might be the most vulnerable I've ever seen from her. So the first thing I noticed is this cover's in black and white, which immediately reminded me of my favorite Taylor Swift album, Folklore. Her face is cut off. She's wearing some kind of black sheer lingerie. She's caressing herself. Her shoulder strap is falling off. And it also appears to be morning. Now, I guess you could say this could be the lighting of the sun going down, but this feels like her just waking up. Perhaps this signifies she's coming out of some kind of dream or she's awakening to something or having some sort of major change of thought. But as many pictures as there are of Taylor Swift and as many videos and documentations of her out in public there are, we've never really seen, or at least I've never really seen anything like this. This to me feels deeply personal and intimate. I mean, we don't see Taylor Swift just waking up in the morning. The only thing that doesn't look authentic about this is her hair. And I can say this because my wife has very similar hair to Taylor Swift. It's just kind of flat, it's kind of shiny, it's kind of straight. And when she wakes up, her hair is a bit more chaotic than this. It's kind of all over the place. It's, you know, puffed up in one spot. Oh my God, if my wife watched these videos, she'd kill me. But anyway, it looks, to me, I think it looks great. But here, her hair seems to be at least combed. Also, another argument that this might not actually be Taylor Swift in the morning, you don't see a massive pile of blankets on top of her. Yeah, if this was Taylor Swift in the morning, I'm assuming she's just like every other girl I've been with, and she steals all of the blankets. And there's no dude that's just sitting on the other side of the bed freezing his ass off. There are theories out there, and I kind of thought this too with having it be in black and white and Folklore. I know that Evermore is the sister album to Folklore, so maybe the Tortured Poets Department is like the sexy cousin to them all. I don't know how it all ties together. Something in me thinks that they might tie together in some kind of way though. Perhaps we'll be moving back into that acoustic folky style that I enjoy so much from Taylor. And then we get this image as well, which is also very interesting. It reads, "And so I enter into evidence my tarnished coat of arms, my muses acquired like bruises, my talismans and charms, the tick, tick, tick of love bombs, my veins of pitch black ink. All's fair in love and poetry, sincerely, the chairman of the Tortured Poets Department." So this image, I could see people definitely trying to dive deeper into and analyze this. And I have my own theories. I haven't really looked into other people's theories because I want to kind of keep my opinions to myself here. But at first glance, again, it's in black and white. It's also looking like it was written on some sort of fancy letterhead. It's on top of a stack of papers, and it looks like it's encased in some kind of filing system. The whole thing has like a very retro crime noir thing to it, and not just off of what the words are saying here, but off of the little details as well. Like there's a coffee mug stain on it over here. There's also some sort of like fingerprints. The whole thing seems like it's kind of dirty or it's been handled in some kind of way. Now, if we didn't already have the track list, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, I would assume this would be a hint that it was a greatest hit album of some kind. My tarnished coat of arms, my muses acquired like bruises, my talismans and charms, the tick, tick, tick of love bombs. The whole thing kind of like just talks about her entire discography of what she shared with us. But maybe she's talking about one instance particular. My veins of pitch black ink. Now, I love this line. At first, it might read like, oh, she's got pitch black ink in her veins. She must be very jaded about something. And maybe she is. But to me, this reads more of kind of Taylor as a whole. I mean, this is going to be her 11th studio album. Not only does she release a lot more music than other popular artists, but she's releasing good music. It's not a quantity over quality situation. It's just a lot of quality music. Other artists really can't compete. You know, it's her work ethic and it's her drive and it's in her veins. She has this writing inside of her. She needs to share it with people. It's almost a compulsion of vulnerability. But I do think there's going to be some shots fired somewhere because at the end she says it's all fair in love and poetry. And she's the chairman of the Tortured Poet Department. So yeah, there it is. It has a very vintage, old school aesthetic to it. It almost reads like an old school crime noir. The tick, tick, tick of a love bomb entering into evidence. Like I feel like there's going to be some sort of mystery surrounding this. All right, so here it is. This is the actual track list for the album. First song is Fortnite featuring Post Malone. That's an interesting title for an opening track. I'm assuming this must be about her first Battle Royale win with Post Malone. Taylor Swift opening the album up by pwning some noobs. I dig it. Then we have the title track, The Tortured Poets Department. Track 3, My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. I wonder if this is going to talk about some sort of self-sabotage. Track 4 is Down Bad. Something tells me this is going to be intense. And then we have the ever important track 5, So Long London. Now, what does that mean? We all know track 5 is the heavy hitter of the album, so Long London could be massive. I know for a while there, she was flying back and forth to London. She was dating some guys over there. Maybe she's kind of over that whole scene, and now she's just kind of into something else. Then we move on to But Daddy, I Love Him. Now, I don't know too much about Taylor Swift's father. He seems like a fairly analytical guy. I know that he's in investments, that he invested in her career. For the most part, he seems like a calm, cool, and collected guy. So I would imagine he has some concerns with some of the men that she may have been associated with. They move on to Fresh Out of the Slammer. And then the next one we got is Florida, 3 exclamation points, featuring Florence and the Machine. Florence is the machine that continues to impress me. Every once in a while, I'll get a request on one of my live request shows, and it's always interesting stuff. Look, man, Florida is a great state. I enjoy Florida, but there's no reason Florida deserves 3 exclamation points. I think you go to Florida for one of 2 reasons. One is to take the family down to some of the theme parks and participate in some consumerism. And 2, you go there just to die. Yeah, you just go down there, you retire, and you just die. Either way, I don't believe Florida deserves 3 exclamation points. Moving on to the next track, it is Guilty as Sin, question mark? Perhaps they're not guilty, I don't know. Then once again, we get another question mark with Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? Perhaps this is about people that have unfairly criticized Taylor Swift or talked bad about her and had an army of fans unleash on them. The next one is I Can Fix Them. No, really, I can. I guess it depends on what kind of fixing you're doing. If you're trying to like maybe better habits of your partner, if you're trying to like get them to eat more vegetables or take their vitamins or, brush their teeth an extra time a day or something, yeah, you can probably fix that shit. But if you're dealing with somebody that have characteristics that are deep-seated in narcissism or psychological issues, chances are you're not going to change their entire outlook. Now, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it's going to take years of investment to break them out of that cycle. The next track is LOML. Now, I'm not good with acronyms. I'm not sure what that could mean. It could be anything. The next track is called I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. This is probably going to be a song of perseverance, of kind of stifling your own emotions and your own feelings and overcoming something. And this can be a good or a bad thing. I'm going to be interested to see how this song plays out. Then we're moving on to a song called The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Something tells me shots are going to be fired on this one. I think track 5, So Long London, and The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. These are going to be some scathing feedback from Taylor. Then we move on to The Alchemy. It could be anything. Clara Bow. I don't know what that is. Perhaps it's a person or something. Maybe I'll do some research on it. And then we have the bonus track, The Manuscript, which immediately reminds me of the song. I think it's called How You Get the Girl, which is essentially just kind of outlines how you actually get the girl and hold on to them. So that should be an interesting one. I'm very curious about that one for sure. Now, here's the thing. One part of me really wants to enjoy this album and react to it right away with everybody. And here's the kicker, man. The Tortured Poets Society is going to be released in less than 2 months' time. Now, on one hand, I really want to enjoy this album with you guys. I want to react to it. I want to get into the theories. I want to build on the hype with you guys. I want to experience a brand new piece of Taylor Swift music with everybody. But on the other hand, I've been very disciplined in going in chronological order. There are pros and cons to both. I'm not exactly sure what to do. What I might do is just put up a poll here on Patreon for everybody and just ask you guys, should I enjoy the album right with you guys and then get back to going in chronological order, or should I continue going in chronological order and experience things how they were naturally laid out?